Yeah. Sometimes I be so caught up in the fight just to live. And even in those times, the flesh can forget. Their trouble won't last always. I tell you.
Psalms 121.
Amen. We're going to be there for a while as we close out the month of August. I will be back preaching until the month of October. Each week in September, we have a guest in Sheriff. We will start. Amen. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, almost on my head. My help coming from the Lord, was made heaven and earth. So our subject and our theme for our 54th year anniversary. It's time to look up. It's time to look up. As we shared on Wednesday, the book of Psalms is a very intricate book in and of itself. Some things come to mind, other ones the only book in the Bible that does not have any chapters. But each psalm is a song unto itself. Each psalm is a reflection of the writer and his religious relationship as he seeks to share with others concerning God in his life. Amen. He shall always be at odds with the situation of religion and relationship. That's right. Religion had always been captive in my mind is that which one does repetitively over and over and over. But when I also dealt within the more intricate definition of religion, what I found is that religion also is a deeply rooted devotion that one has in a superior or supernatural being that one would consider to be their God. As I spoke on that definition, I readily recognize that our Christian walk is the only walk in our life where we must not only have a relationship, but we also must have religion. Come on now. And yet, it's been one of those arenas that I understand has caused. I've been struggling with it myself, the feeling that maybe if you want to be for real with people, it's time just to throw in the towel. I know. See, people at the church, they don't want you to really be real. They want you to entertain them. They want you to make it feel. That's right. People don't really want you to be real. They don't want to preach. That will tickle their ears, not the pastor who distracts their hearts. Wow. They don't want somebody to challenge you. Come on now. They are insulted by the notion and you will challenge me on how I really feel about God, not understanding that the challenge is because of what you're reflecting about your testimony.
Come on now.
You sit here talking about I love the Lord, and He heard my cry, and yet when you really look at it and the way you live and how you act, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob really is so much.
Come on now.
I know I might be fired for this. I might be actually, but I want to say it again. I need you guys to get into this song. Because the first thing I recognize is that if you really want to be for real about your religious relationship with God, you got to first make sure you got one for yourself. Go ahead. You're not good enough to simply come in here and just clap your hands and shed tears and be snotting, falling all over the place, and yet when you believe I am here, you serve every other God except for the God that you testify. Some of you got gods called your relatives. Some folks got gods called luck. That's right. Some of you got gods called this is how I see. Some of you put objects and items, tangible things, before your sincere devotion to the God that's found in His Word. Long time ago, I sat down with my children, and they were kind of puzzled up the face. I told them, don't ever make me more important than God.
Come on now.
Number one, I got hit too much. And my Bible tells me that the God that's in this word is a jealous God. He said that thou shalt have no other God before you. I found out that the God in this book
Yes, sir.
will take stumbling blocks out of ways. And I told my children, hey, don't put me in front of your viewpoint and your relationship about him who sits high and yet looks low. The author of this Psalms, although it has been debated for some time, really have yielded themselves to saying that David was the author of this text. And the reason why is because it was during the time that Saul, Israel's first king, found out that God had laid his hands upon David and had anointed David to be king and set out to try and claim his life, that David was a man. When you check the way David was living and running through many of the valleys, through the Philistine countryside. And yet, when you look at the life of David always, when he found himself in the valley, he found himself on the valley. You all remember when David stood before a giant called Goliath. David was in the valley. The valley of Eli. When David testified about how he fought the bear and the lion, David was down in the valley. When Elijah called up and climbed on the side of Mount Carmel, he was down in the valley, and he told the children of Israel, how long are we between two opinions? The Bible says that Elijah fell, and when he looked up, he found himself in the valley of dry bones. I wish I had somebody walking me through this. Well, I recognize my brothers and my sisters is that in this life, all of us will find ourselves down in the valley. We're going to be in the valley where we're fighting tooth and nail just to stay alive. Well, I'm not talking about just your physical life, but I'm talking about your spiritual life. I'm talking about staying alive, having hope. I'm talking about staying alive, having dreams. I'm talking about staying alive, having faith. David had to worry about how things was going to be going on. He had to worry about this person. He had to worry about that person. But David here, as he found himself down in the valley, he said, I know everything's going to be all right because I'm going to lift up my eyes. Go ahead. Yes, sir. See, because when you look at the hills, you recognize that the hills always represented a place.
That's right.
Where the presence of God was around.
That's right. That's right.
Jesus went up in the hills on the mountainside. Bowed his head and talked to God. Jesus was grounded in a garden called Mount Olivet. In a place where it was high and lifted up. The hills always represented that place that you can just ascend to, that you would know that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. My Lord. Hills always represented that place where I know that God is there working things out for me. But you can't look to the hills if you ain't got the right relationship.
Come on now.
Make it plain.
With God.
That's right.
When you think about the being in the valley, something I recognize about the valley, and finding yourself in the valley. I found out that most of us are in the valley for one of three reasons. Either life has put us in the valley, either people has put us in the valley, or we just done got nosy and went down to the valley for ourselves. Well, hello, somebody. Sometimes we just get beside us. And the thing about our relationship with God, do you not know that everything and anything that you want to go through, God has already talked to you about it to prepare you for it. Like Reverend Steve standing before me and saying, Bishop, don't go and put your hand on the burner because it's hot and it's going to burn you. I'm just, I'm just going. Next thing I knew, I got, charred flesh and, it's all aromatic. Yes. And he looking at me like, I told you. And sometimes when we look at the struggle we're going through, sometimes when we look at our heartache and our heartbreak, God has already told us that obedience is better than sacrifice. God has already told us that we're going to have our trust in Him. God has already told us that every day will be a flower. Go ahead. And yet, we become like Eve and become disobedient. We become like Lot's wife. Well, looking back, thirsting after what we left behind. My Lord. We become like the children of Israel, who always want to be like everybody else around. That's right. And yet not realizing God never sent you to be like the Joneses. God sent you to be an example to the Joneses.
Come on now.
David was a man on the roof.
Right.
And while he was even down in the valley, he had enough trust in God through his relationship with God to look up toward the hill. And notice that when he looked to the hill, he gave credit to whom he was looking to. He said, my help don't come from the lottery. My help don't come from mom and daddy. My help don't come from a piece. My help comes from the Lord.
Yeah.
And because you might not have an understanding, because we got a whole different lot of lords all around. Let me tell you, my help comes from the Lord that have made heaven and earth.
That's it.
Amen.
My help coming from him who stepped out of nowhere into nowhere. Looked at saw nothing and no how and said, let there be, and nowhere became. Somewhere, no how became somehow, and no place became.
That's it. That's it.
My help coming from him who the preacher on the last Sunday told Moses to tell them, if they ask you who I am, just tell them I am. That I am. And even as we have come down through more than 2,000 years, if they still ask you, preacher, tell them, not that I was, not that I will be, but I am that I am.
That's it.
But you can't understand who God is because you have never let him be in your life.
That's my Lord.
And the truth is, we do good and tell a little lie from amazing grace to do what have to do. That's what I need. Amen.
That's why I feel like I might get fired out.
Oh yeah, we going on. Oh, child, I just love the Lord. You done so good.
Help yourself, preacher.
As soon as you hit the door after the benediction, give oh child, what in the world am I going to do? You done already told folks, why are you trying to figure it out? God has already worked it out. And yet when the rubber meets the road, you put your trust in everything else. I know we got this crisis going on called COVID.
Yes.
Believe me, I'll be one of the last ones to tell you that it's something that you ought to play around with. I've seen the devastation firsthand.
Yes.
But no matter how tough COVID and all its variants is, I still got to tell COVID about my God.
Come on, God.
I know about poverty firsthand. People ask me sometimes why it is, when God allowed me to. And I have to say that it's sometimes an obsession for me. But the Bible always said what the Bible said, but I know that confession is good for the soul. So I was looking in my room the other day, and I know I got on 40 pairs of shoes. And I know you can wear number one pair at a time.
Come on now.
When I looked at my life, I can remember the time. And I ain't had number one pair of shoes.
I hear you. I hear you.
And in order to wear them, I was one of the ones who had to take the cereal box and tear the back off of the cereal box and fold it in half and put it inside. That's why I know God brought
Well,
from a mighty long.
mighty long way.
I can remember, and 62 years old. I can remember when my mother had to work for 3 jobs, and while my mother was working, my auntie would take us to not to the Salvation Army, not to the refuge place, but my auntie would take us down to the city dump.
Come on now.
So wait for the trucks to come, and when the trucks came and there were clothes in the truck, she would go through the clothes and pick out the good clothes and take them home and wash them so that we could have clothes to go to school.
I hear you, Doc. I hear you. I hear you.
I remember in my own lifetime that because my mother had to work, so we had to be a part of a family where there were 14 children. And I can tell the story of how my oldest cousin had to fix the grits into big pots so that all of the children could eat. How they took the bologna, not pre-sliced bologna that come in the pack, but I'm talking about the big long bologna that was wrapped in the red, and I had to take the butcher knife and slice it so that everybody could have.
That's it.
And when I think about how far God has,
I hear you.
I can look up and see
I can look up.
from His cover, my God.
My Lord.
And I have to recognize and understand what the Bible is dealing with and teaching me about when you talk about trusting the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Because only God can take you from the gutter hole
Come on now.
and bring you to the other hole.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Only God can take you from the bus stop to where you can go outside your home and put a key in the ignition and go anywhere.
Come on now.
Go ahead, preacher.
And yet, we sometimes don't even have the real audacity to be for real with God.
My Lord.
But we don't really have a relationship with Him.
My Lord.
You can't look up from the valley
My Lord.
until you first recognize that you're in the valley.
Come on now.
You can't look up to the hills
My Lord.
until you really know what you're looking for.
Come on.
Well,
That's it. That's it.
And until we are for real with ourselves about our relationship with God,
yes, sir.
we will always be stuck in a valley because we realistically don't have any hills to look up to.
That's it.
David said, my help coming from the Lord, who have made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. And he that keepeth thee will neither slumber nor sleep. My Lord. I don't know about you, but every night
Yes, sir.
I get weak and I get weary.
Well,
And whether I make my way to the bed, most of the time I'm still sitting in the recliner.
go ahead, preacher.
I fade off and I find myself resting.
Yes, Lord.
But you know, the God that we serve is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
that not only will He never leave us, but He never will allow our security to be left in somebody else's hands.
Come on
Go ahead.
now.
Go ahead.
God loves us so much that He keeps watch over us all day and over us all night.
All right.
God loves us so much
Yes.
that even while we are toiling with the situations of life,
Yes, sir.
He merely says, cast your cares upon Him who cares for for you.
Yes.
While we struggle from one day to the next,
Well,
God reminds us
keep in mind.
that all that we need
Yes.
is found in the hollow of His hand.
Yes.
All
All
that we need just to make it through the day.
well,
Jesus said, take no thought for tomorrow.
yeah.
For tomorrow
Tomorrow.
will take care of itself.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you got a real relationship with God,
Yeah.
you realize that all I've got to do is just get through today.
Yes, sir.
If you got a real relationship in God,
Yes, sir.
all you got to do is get through your right now.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
You got a real relationship with God. Then you will recognize that God is still in the prayer answering business. Somebody knows that God still answers prayer. Somebody sitting right in this place that's been down and out, trying to wonder how they were going to make it. But then they heard somebody say, just go down in the secret spot and have a talk with God. See, we pray down in the valley, but we look for our blessing. We go down and talk to God and tell God all about our trouble. You do that when the babies are crying. But when you grow up in the Lord, you recognize that all I got to do is tell God I need you. I need you. Call on God early in the morning. Call on God late in the midnight hour. God will step out on the next of our life. And God will look at our trouble, our trials, and our tribulations. God will look at the burdens in our lives, and God is still saying, peace be still. God is still saying, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I still am the God that will handle your problem. I still am the God that will handle your burden. I still am the God that will handle your pain. I stepped in for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I heard Hezekiah as he wept and cried about the will of God. I heard Isaiah as he cried out for the children of Israel. And don't you know, I'm still in the pride of my children. Still in the pride of the lost. Still in the burden of those who are about God. But you can never have that blessed assurance if you don't have the right relationship with God. So know that when you're down in that, you still can look up toward the hill.
Yes, sir.
Some of you right in here, you don't want to tell anybody, and I'm not asking you to tell anybody, but somebody right in here, you're struggling in your life. I don't need no crystal ball. I don't need no numbers. I don't need no muscle. So I know That when everybody have left you, you don't have to worry about putting on your fake smile. That you go in your own secret closet.
Yes.
You hold your shoulders together.
Well,
And you cry out, Lord, what shall I do?
what shall I do?
But I'm here today to tell you that God's answer to your question
Well,
is just to really lean on me.
well,
Lean on me when you feel like you're in the darkness. Lean on me. Lean on me when you feel like you're in a crowd and get your whole body yourself.
lean on me.
Lean on me.
Yes, sir.
When the ones that love you or say that they love you have left you and you have to feel all by yourself, lean on me.
Lean on me.
When you feel like in the middle of the day, you in the middle of the night of your life, lean on me.
Lean on me.
Because I still stay
Yes, sir.
with outstretched arms. I'm still reaching down to you.
Well,
And my purpose is really to lift you up.
yes, Lord.
My purpose is to let you know that while the storms of life may be great, I have not left you. Nor have I forsaken you.
My Lord.
And that while you may not be able to depend upon folk, you can depend on me.